All right, welcome friends. Many have asked me for my opinion on the 2025 4Runner leaks, so I figured I would quickly address it. But of course, there's not much to talk about, so to make this video relevant, this will be almost a part 2 of why I decided to purchase a 2024 4Runner. So I already did a few videos on this vehicle. You can check them out on the channel. But here I'm going to talk about things I haven't discussed before. All right, quickly, let's talk about that 2025 4Runner leak. We essentially know what the rear end of this vehicle is going to look like, and it's about what we expected. However, I'm sure we can all rejoice that the rolling rear window is going to remain. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the feature that everyone keeps raving about when it comes to these 4Runners, so it would be pretty dumb of Toyota to just remove that feature, right? But yeah, through that window, you can also see the 14-inch infotainment display. That is optional with the new Toyotas like your Tacos and your Tundras. So we can assume the same thing here regarding the 4Runner, the 14-inch display. Although it is amazing, it is going to be optional. And we can see on the rear end, it's going to say Toyota, and it's going to have 4Runner written at the bottom as well. In the pictures that they displayed, it was a chrome badging. But I'm sure they're going to offer a blackout package, or you can just do it in the aftermarket yourself if you want to black out the emblems. But we can already assume that the front end is going to look like the Tacoma, and the side, well, it's going to look like a box. So yeah, overall, it's going to be a hit product. Everyone is going to be clamoring to get their hands on it. Every time a new Toyota product drops, everyone is willing to pay MSRP or even above MSRP to get it. That's just the world that we're in. But what are some other things you can expect with the new 4Runner? Well, if you look at the previous generation products like what I have here, this is my own personal 4Runner, this 5th gen, and if you look at the old Taco and the old Tundras, they were not very safe vehicles in a crash test according to IIHS. But when the new Tundra dropped, it went from being the most unsafe truck on the market to being the safest truck regarding a crash test. So we can assume the same things regarding the new 4Runner. It should be literally a top safety pick according to IIHS when the new 4Runner drops. So that should be one of the biggest advantages. It should handle better, a little bit less body roll, if you will. The stability should improve. And yeah, regarding the drivetrain, you're going to get that turbo 4-cylinder and the optional iForce Max, that hybrid powertrain as well. Basically the same stuff that you've seen with the Tacoma. The interior space should exude a more premium demeanor, but I highly doubt it's going to have the same solidity as these 5th gen cabins. It's going to look nicer in video and in pictures, but once you step inside a lot of these newer Toyotas and you start poking around, that's when you realize that most of these new Toyotas, they've lost that solidity that they've once had. So a lot of people, they complain about the old Tundras, Tacos, and these 4Runners being outdated and having boring interiors, but the reality is these interiors, they can really withstand the test of time. You can literally punch this interior, throw a hammer at it, nothing is going to break in here. But the other thing they're most likely going to improve upon is perhaps the seating position, the overall ergonomics, etc. But anyway, we'll get the full unveiling on April 9th. So to make this video not so disposable or not irrelevant in the future, I'm going to talk about other reasons why I decided to purchase this 5th gen 4Runner while I could. I saw a video by a gentleman running a channel called CM Autohaus, or Autohaus, however you say it, I apologize. But he used to be a Subaru mechanic, and he was telling a story about his personal experiences working in the automotive industry, working with multiple dealerships, and how he got treated as a mechanic. And long story short, it's not good, you know. It's so sad, but a lot of these mechanics are not being paid properly, despite them being highly educated and highly skilled at their profession. I don't know, like they just keep playing with their hours, and apparently the politics and the favoritism in some of these dealerships, that's not right. So a lot of things just working against these skilled mechanics. And again, super unfortunate to see that, but because of all of these injustices, many of these skilled mechanics are simply leaving their jobs. Many of them are becoming electricians, plumbers, or even just simply getting a desk job. So what's left at a lot of these dealerships are just, let's just say, not the most qualified people. I think this gentleman, he was saying that even some of the detailers working at the dealerships, they tend to do some of the jobs on your new vehicles or warranty work, etc. It's like when the Bible says, who can find a virtuous woman? It's like, who can find a virtuous mechanic, right? I believe that gentleman from CM Auto House, I think he started his own shop to fix Subarus and to modify them. Actually, I personally know a master technician who is actually a certified master tech in both Mercedes and Porsche. He was doing really well for himself because of his top tier position that he's managed to achieve. But he didn't want to deal with the dealership politics and upcharging customers for no apparent reason. So he ended up quitting his really well-paying job to start his own shop. It's called High Performance Garage in Apex, North Carolina. But yeah, that's what a lot of highly trained or well-experienced technicians are doing. They're actually starting their own shops. But the problem with that is they're typically new businesses and you don't know if you can trust them, right? That's why finding a good technician, it is so hard, man. But if you do, they're worth more than rubies and gold. I'm not even exaggerating. So even though on this channel I do preach, leasing and dumping, which is a valid strategy and it's worth doing with a lot of these new overly complicated vehicles, I'm just sorry to say most vehicles are not worth keeping past their warranty period. But the new issue is, even if you have a new car under full factory warranty, when you take it to the dealership, it's highly possible that there's simply not enough trained or qualified technicians that can work on your car. And yeah, like manufacturer warranty work, apparently that doesn't pay out the best. So technicians, they just slap something together, or they just come up with a quick fix just to get you out of the dealership so they can move on to more profitable work. So a lot of little things like that are going on at these dealerships. And I ended up purchasing a car that is going to have amazing resale value. It's one of the few vehicles that you can keep after the warranty is up. And if something does go wrong, or if I need to do some quick maintenance, even someone like me, I can work on this car. I can look up some DIY videos on YouTube and figure something out. Not to mention the flexibility that comes with owning this 4Runner. I personally leased this car and I'm pretty much paying like almost no interest on it. So all of the payments that I made towards this vehicle actually goes towards the equity. The plan is to buy this vehicle at the end of the lease, but due to the high resale value of the 4Runner, there's most likely going to be positive equity left over at the end of the lease. So 3 years from now, if the new 4Runner ends up being a good vehicle, it ends up being dependable, or it leases out extremely cheap, then I can just swap this old 4Runner for the new one, because it's going to be at least 3 years old at that point, the new 4Runner, so they most likely would have worked out any kinks associated with the new 4Runner that's about to come out. As long as the vehicle is decently reliable and has amazing resale value, I'm fine with that. I'm okay with upgrading to the new 4Runner in 3 years, but I certainly don't want it now, because right now everyone is going to be paying MSRP or even over that for the new 4Runner since it's new, and I don't want to be stuck with the first model year either. I was able to get this 4Runner, this 5th gen, for $2,000 under invoice. I managed to do that by using a automotive broker named Jim. I already discussed him multiple times in my other videos, but he recently got some Land Cruiser allocations. They landed at his dealership that he's partnered with. All of them sold immediately over sticker. So that's just what happens with new Toyotas when they initially drop. They trade for over sticker. They're overhyped. So let's just let that die off first. And in the meantime, I'm just going to rock this 5th gen because I genuinely do love driving this. This simply has so much character. I love the sound of that V6 engine. It's truly phenomenal. This organic quality is most likely going to be lost with the new 4Runner. That's the thing with new cars. There's technically nothing to complain about them. Like, I already know the new 4Runner is going to be better in every way in terms of driving compared to this old one, but it's going to lack that character, it's going to lack that soul and that organic quality that I absolutely love about these 5th gens. Every small trip made in this old school 4Runner feels special and unique. You don't have to be doing 300 miles an hour in this to have fun. Even slow speeds feel special in this older 4Runner. That's what made me fall in love with it, and that's why I wanted to get one as a family car. But regardless, that's my thoughts on the new 4Runner, and the potential lack of high quality technicians is another reason why I didn't want to gamble with a quote unquote unreliable car or a overly complex vehicle like some of the German stuff. Of course, 99% of the people who buy vehicles like that, especially in the first 3 years, don't really have any issues. But I don't want to be that 1% that ends up having to screw around with the dealership, waste my time. I really hate that. And if you want to work with Jim and purchase these 5th gens below invoice, then he has a phone number. You can just text him. He's located in Pennsylvania. He has great shipping connects. He does charge a broker fee, but if you mention Meyn Motor Group, he'll take $100 off of that broker fees. But yeah, that's my thoughts, and I'll be sure to make an updated video when the 4Runner gets fully unveiled on April 9th. But thank you so much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye.